What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Paradox. So, there are a few paradox that you will have to uh, understand because as we proceed in the coming chapters and lessons, you're going to, take it is more of action oriented um, method that I have used. So, for you to really understand the intention behind that, it would be extremely important for you to understand this, the paradox. And there are certain things that I'm going to teach you, as in, like, when you get exposed to that, and first thing is, like, you'll never be able to unlearn that. That's the first one. And the second one is, like, you will really start looking at things in a very different lens. You will start looking at things from a very different perspective. You're going to look at it from a whole different angle. Okay, that itself is going to make a huge psychological shift. And yeah, that's what I have planned for you over here in this video, the paradox. Okay, so let's just get down right into it. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the present activities versus the future consequence. What exactly is the present activity and the future consequence? I mean, I'm just going to draw a clear distinction between the present and the future, also the activities and the consequences. Okay, so that you are going to view every activity different from a physical standpoint, as in, like, physical, physics standpoint, and you're going to look at the consequences from a philosophical standpoint. Okay, so present versus future is again the same physics law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So every action is the present, and equal and opposite reaction is the future. Okay, so you can call it the nature of law. I mean, the law of nature, or karma, or pattern, or whatever it is, but it just boils down to that one thing. uh, Understanding the entrance barrier, very important, and your ultimate secret weapon. So this video itself alone, like, in this entire course, this video alone is going to be, like, if you want to pick one thing, if you have to pick one thing and then run with it, I think it's this one video. Okay, so I have put in years and years of effort and learning into this. I'm not saying this one because you have to take action. I'm saying this, and again, I'm not saying this just to show a status symbol that I have put in so much of effort. No, that's not the point. The point is that this is not the knowledge that you are learning. It is the wisdom, and it is not just from a bunch of books and some bunch of series that I have. No, these are my real life experiences, and from what I have learned and what I have implemented, like I said, minus the mistakes. Right? So it's not the knowledge. Whatever you're learning here is just sheer wisdom from years and years of doing the wrong thing. And I have faced the consequences. I know how my life was shitty, and I don't want anybody to go through what I've been through. Anybody. So, yeah. And the reason why I'm putting this is because I don't think so anybody's getting educated with this, and I don't think so this level of in-depth knowledge, nobody's just really paying attention, because we're all busy doing our things, running our life, and there are no resources that you have to learn under an obligation, right? But it is an obligation, and I am just telling you that you are obliged to learn this. I know it's a very bold statement, but the reason why I'm saying this is because it is for your own good. It is for your own good. So please make sure that you make every minute that you spend, it is going to be worthwhile, and make sure that you are taking a lot of notes, and please learn these concepts. Okay, so let's understand the anticipation. Anticipation is the time and the thoughts happening in that time. So what is the thought? The thought of an activity, and the thought of the result. You got it? So the thought of an activity, and the result of that activity. So that could be an immediate result or the long-term result. The anticipation is nothing but an emotion that is correlated with that particular point. Let me just explain to you, okay, what that is. So, there is an activity that you've got to take. Okay, let's say that you want to apply for a job. So, you're applying for a job is an activity, and the result is that you're getting the job. So, you are in your own world, in your own reality, doing your own thing, right? This is from a physical standpoint. Your physical reality is something different. But when you think, it's a thought. So, and that is anticipation. What are you thinking about applying for a job? The application and the result, or the result and the result. You got it? So, the activity and the result, the activity or the result. So, this depends on people to people. So, I'm just thinking about the workout, or I'm just thinking about a better health, or I'm just thinking about the better body. So, the better body or the better result is, a better body or the better health is the result. The workout is the activity. So, I'm just thinking about the activity and the result or the result. Okay. So, this is not for everyone. Like, some people can think about the activity and the result, or some people can think about activity or the result. All right. But when that thinking happens, when that decision, when you're going to take the decision, that is because of anxiety. You have a feeling when you think about that one thing. I have to start a new things, right? I have to start a new thing. I have to start that one thing. I need to start applying for a new job. I have to start going to work out. I have to start learning the new skill. That particular thought, it triggers anxiety, and that anxiety helps you take that action. Depends on the amount of anxiety. If you have a lot of anxiety, if you have crazy ass anxiety, then you will just start taking it immediately. Okay, you will start taking action immediately. If not, then you will look for something else to subside that anxiety. Okay, so that is the anticipation. This is a very important key in the way you approach a particular activity. So, the anticipation is the act versus the result that triggers the emotion. So, you're the thinking about this that triggers the emotion. So, this particular emotion is caused by the thought, or the emotion is causing the thought. You got it? So, this is a self-reflexive cycle. I know it's a mouthful of words, but think about this, right? You got fired from a job. I'm just giving an example. So, the thought of getting fired from the job causes you stress. That is anxiety. Okay. So, I'm having a thinking, and that thought is causing me anxiety. That is an emotion. That's one way to look at it. So, the thought is the cause, and feeling scared, or the fear or the anxiety, that is the result. Or it could be the other way. The emotion triggers because you don't have a job, and that creates a thought that, oh, I need to act. You got it? So this is a cycle, and don't worry, I will break it down for you. So the act versus result, that triggers the emotion, and the emotion that we are talking about over here is anxiety. Okay, so if your physical activity, the thing that you are doing or that you're going to do, okay, the activity and the result that is going to cause because of this particular activity, it causes a negative emotion, and I'll tell you why it is a negative emotion. Now, what you should be doing is look for a job. Okay, that means you need to start applying for jobs. That's the activity that you must be performing. But instead, you're doing something else that gives you some other result. You're talking to your friend, you're going and playing with other people, with your friends, I don't know. Right? So when you think about that particular scenario that you have to look for a job, that although you are having a lot of fun in your current activity, it triggers the negative emotion. The thought, the anticipation triggers the negative emotion. Okay? This is important to understand, because The anticipation is nothing but just before the activity and during the activity. So it causes the negative emotion because the activity is entirely different. Because you have taken this activity because of the monkey brain. But the actual activity is for you to go and do the job search. But the actual activity that you're doing is entirely different. You're playing cricket, right? So the result that you're going to get is different. These both are not in alignment with your thought, because the thought is getting a job. When that is having a discrepancy, it causes a negative emotion. This is anxiety. If you feel lost, you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what you're going to do, that causes negative emotion, right? This negative emotion is the anticipation. The negative emotion can cause before the activity or during the activity itself. So humans, you and I, we act when the pain is high or the pleasure is high. Okay? So if I have to tell you, if I have to break it down for you, when you're really horny, you really think about sex. I want to have sex, right? That's the peak. When the libido is high, the pleasure is high, and I wanted to, I want to have that. You act on that. Until then, it's okay. When you want to pee, you will hold on for a while, right? I mean, let's say that you're sitting in a meeting and you want to, this is causing the pain. What? You want to have, you want to pee. Okay? Now, this is the anticipation. Now, when you think about in front of everyone, you should just get up and just say, I need to step out for a minute, right? The pain is not built up so much. The anticipation is building slowly because you're thinking about, okay, this meeting is for 2 hours and there are 50 people over here and I have to get up and step out. I can't just do it. I need to excuse myself. So that is causing the pain. I mean, that is causing the anticipation. So the pain is not so much that you're not acting at the moment. When the pain grows, when you want to pee, that goes, I cannot control anymore. I'm 80% of my threshold. I'm 90% of my threshold. When I get that point, then be like, you know what? If I don't act now, that's going to be very bad. So that time, the anticipation is at its highest. That means the pain is at highest. See, anticipation, not necessarily it is only meaning the negative. It is also the positive. It is also the pleasure. Okay? But you will act only when the pain is high. Now, just focus on this fourth point. Everything that you have done in your life is because either there's a pain that is high or the pleasure that is high. Right? I don't know. Think of anything. Just, okay, you need to file your tax. You wait for the last day. Right? I'm not saying that you are, but most people wait for the last day. There are some people, very few people, neocortex is crazy for them and they just act. That's the whole personality part that we were talking about. Okay, they just act. They don't wait for anything to the last moment. So most people act when the pain is high or the pleasure is high. So you will do the dreaded activity when the anxiety really hits you. All right, now I have been thinking about this job threat. I've been getting this job threat, but today I'm at a job loss. I don't have a job. I'm not getting my salary next month. That means your anxiety is at your highest. That means you have to act. If I don't finish this project, if I don't submit, if I don't do the presentation tomorrow, I'm fucked. In front of 50 people, I'm going to be so embarrassed. So I have to do it. So even if you have like 1 month of time, most humans will not do it at the start. They will wait and they will wait and they will wait until the last. That means if you have to go back to the previous lecture that I taught you about, the amygdala and the middle brain, these two brains are not giving the threat response. Okay, you know what? You've got time, so relax. And it is like I said, it's acting as a filtering mechanism that is not letting you go into the neocortex. So if your neocortex is so mature, it's called as a neuroplasticity, right? It's the plasticity, meaning the maturation, the strengthening of that neocortex, that outer brain, that thinking brain. If that is so matured, then you will think about the consequence. You will start feeling the consequence at the start. And if I don't do it, then I'm going to be embarrassed. So you're getting it now. Wise, there are very few smart people, and there are a lot of other, what I mean, right? So you will do the dreaded activity, the activity that is not so pleasurable, or the activity that is so painful as in, like in this case, like I wanted to ask everyone that, like I want to ask, I want to permit myself to step out of this meeting room to go and pee. So the pain, the dreaded that is a dreaded activity, just not the pee, but asking to step out. That's a dreaded activity. You've been anxious about it. How can I ask? How can I embarrass myself to do this, right? But when the anxiety is hitting you at the rooftop, like, okay, this is it, I can't, then anxiety is the one that triggers you to perform. Okay? And you can apply this everywhere. Why do people, wait until the exam day or the previous day of the exam to study? Why do you think they wait for the last minute? And most people do wait for the last minute. And this is one big subject in psychology, the anticipation. Okay? So the anticipation is the thought of the act and the result. Okay? So this is how you will need to start taking. So when you sit and contemplate about the act, you get the boring feeling, you get the dread feeling. Oh my God, I have to do this, I have to study, I have to do this project, I have to prepare the presentation, and all that. It's nothing but the anticipation. Okay? So how can we take a better look at the present and the future? So let me just give you an example. You have an activity here. This is reality. You have an activity here. This is in your head. So activities like present or the future has a consequence. And if you just have to take one thing out of this video, it will be associations. Let me break it down one by one. So activities, you have one in the reality, which is always strong because your nervous system is engaged into it. Okay, I don't want to turn this into a science class, but please stick with me, okay? Activity is like activity in reality, okay? Reality meaning now you are sitting and watching this, right? You're sitting and watching, or you're sitting and learning. That means your physical body is engaged in this. Your brain is engaged in this. It is engaged. That means your central nervous system is engaged in this particular activity. This will always have a higher power than the one that is in your head. Okay? So once you are in the activity, even though not doing the right activity, or even though having a negative consequence of this particular activity, is having a very less effect. Let's say that you are sitting and watching Instagram. You are in the activity, right? You know it's bad for you for watching like hours together. So once you're in the activity, you know this is bad. But the knowing part is just the feeling. This is not the feeling of the consequence. If I'm going to do this, I'm procrastinating on a lot of other things. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose a lot of time. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to feel bad later. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to feel guilty. So all of this, feeling bad, feeling guilty, losing out on things, losing out on time, all of this is consequence. But this consequence is not in the reality. This is in your head, but this isn't the reality. Your central nervous system is in here. Okay? But this is just a thought. It's just a thought that has a very low vibration while compared to this, because over here your entire body is responding. Your muscles, your nerves, your bones, your joints, everything is over here, including your brain, that activates every activity, like every single activity that you're doing. That means you're engaged in this. This means, like, even if you have a bad feeling about the consequence of that activity, it is not going to be effective unless there is a strong emotion realized. That means, all right, now you're sitting here, you're watching Instagram. So the consequence in your head, I'm not even using, please stick with me, I'm not even using any external I'm not even using any social. Like, obviously, if your manager is coming in telling you that you should not stop using Instagram, obviously you will use it immediately. You will stop using it immediately, like right then and there. So I'm not, this entire thing is built in such a way that you are alone. And how can you take the maximum control? And that's a very important factor for you to understand this, okay? So I'm not using any external. So unless there is a strong emotion realized, that means you are watching Instagram, and if something has to stop you from doing this, that has to be stronger. What is strong? You will do the dreaded activity when anxiety hits you, right? That means if you are hungry, if you're hungry, then you will stop doing this. If you want to pee, you will stop doing it. You're watching Instagram and you got a message, you are an investor, you got a message saying that the company is going down, or some company is going down that you have invested. That will spring you out of that place, right? And just get up and act on that, because that point you have a bigger anxiety, you have bigger emotion that is being realized than, oh, I'm just going to lose my time, this is not good for me. These are just thoughts. But the other emotion, like stronger emotion, is something is happening in the reality. You get a message from your boss saying that you lost a job. That makes you will not continue this activity. You got it? Or someone is dead, or you've been waiting for something and that just happened. That's better. So whatever this emotion is causing in you, if that is stronger, and most likely it has to be in reality. Okay, if that is the case, it is happening in reality. This is not happening in reality. The consequence, like right now, the feeling, okay, excuse me for the language, but the feeling of this consequence is not in reality. It is just in your thought. Okay, yes, it is happening in time, but there's no physical impact. There's no psychological impact. But over here, in the emotion that is being realized, it's stronger than the activity. Then you will stop it or start or whatever. Okay, so once you're in the activity, you need a higher emotion to stop it. This is why if you start, like, I'll just watch a series, I'll just watch a movie, and then I'll start, and then I'll go to work out, and then I'll eat healthy, and then I'll do this, you're never going to get it done. You got it because the activity that you are engaged in is so much stronger, and the consequence is just nothing. Okay, so getting to the second one, the present activity is stronger. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. So the present activity that you're engaged in is stronger. It has a stronger effect in your body and in your mind, and it is a reality. So you cannot fight against the reality with something that is vague in your mind. Oh, I have to work on the project. Do you really think that you're going to get up and work on your project when you're playing in your video game, when you're playing like 2 hours of video game and you are into it? Your dopamine is just getting fried in your brain, right? You are at that point in your peak of your excitement. You really think that you're going to file your tax? Absolutely no. Okay, I'm not saying no. I mean, you may, if you are built up that kind of a person inside of you, that you put first things first, business first, money first, or health first, right? Then it depends. But most people, no. Okay, and I'll tell you why in the coming tutorials. I'll tell you why. So the consequence, it should be felt by you. You should be thinking of the consequence before you start the activity. That means, like, okay, so every time, I'll tell you what, this is one of the hacks that will really help me. Every time when I open Instagram on my desktop, I don't keep on mindlessly scrolling it, but when I open it, I'll be like, okay, this is going to cost me a lot in terms of my brain power, in terms of my time, in terms of my attention span. It's going to cost me a lot. So I know it. And that is the intention that I'm going to set in my mind. And then I'm going to open Instagram on my Chrome browser, on my laptop, or in my laptop. You got it? So first, I'm setting the initial condition, saying that this is the consequence and I know it. And then I'm going to start. That means I'm not going to go in depth into the activity. I'm not going to get in depth into the activity. So if I have something else to start, I'll be like, all right, Before even I get into it, I know what I'm going to start. That means this is just a reward for me. This is just an incentive for me. This activity is not going to harm me worse, because after this I know what I'm going to do. You 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, and then I put a hard stop. And over the years, I have nurtured this hard stop. This hard stop is so matured. So consequence must be realized before the start of the activity. That leads to less likely to start. That means either you will not start, which is again less likely, but if it is for 10 minutes, again, if you're emotionally weak, you will go for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 5 hours. I don't know, right? If you're strong, it'd be like, all right, I'm good. I told 5 minutes, so I'm going to stick to that, right? I told 10 minutes, and I'm going to stick to that. That means I'm emotionally strong. I'm strong to say no to the most enticing images available on the internet. You got it? So, so that's the whole thing about the consequence. So you need to, once you get into the activity and then understand the consequence, it's going to be very, very hard. Okay. So understand this and then get into it. Of course, these are not action steps, but I'm just setting a frame and foundation. Okay. So once you are inside the activity, the factors that can take you out of that particular activity. Yeah, this is something that I have mentioned, like is to pee, or strong hunger, or external influences. Again, I don't want to mention the external influences, because obviously when your child wants to come and play with you, then you will play, right? That's an external influence. I don't want to bring in any of the external influence, because external influence are always powerful and that's easy. So let's not tackle the easy, let's tackle the hard ones. You are alone and then you want to tackle the ones you want to smash your procrastination. That's what we are dealing with. Okay, so let's just take the external influence out of this. The fifth point is you must have a solid consequence association. This is extremely important, and I'll explain you the power of association. Okay, so you must also have a very strong consequence association built up in your brain that triggers before the start of the activity or the anticipation. So association is nothing but, I'll teach you how to build the association in the coming tutorials. But association is nothing but, you're doing an activity and you know that's bad. So what is the association is, what is the potential consequence of this? Or you're going to do an activity, then and that activity is good for you. That means, what can this activity bring to me in my life, right? That's the consequence. So when you really wire this consequence and the activity, when you really link this so hard, let this get hardwired in your brain, when nothing will break you out of this. Like nothing can break you out of this. But anyway, the tools, the weapons, the techniques, all later. Let's just get into the foundation again. So this must have the motivation of ending the existing act and starting the actual act that you're supposed to start. Okay, so having this association of the consequence and the activity. So you have an activity and you have a consequence, and the association comes right in between that. It's just a link. Think of this as a mediator. Okay, and this mediator is nothing but growing a new cell in your brain that really connects these two. Positive activity, positive consequence, build up the association, and boom, you're there. That means you will not be able to stop even if you want to. Okay, that's the power that I'm talking about. Cool. So now I hope you are aware of the activity and its consequence and associations. But associations, I've just touched upon it, but don't worry, I will get deep down into it, and I want to really make you understand this. Okay, so now let's understand the entrance barrier. So every activity has an entrance barrier. The barrier is the word, I don't mean that in a negative way, but there is an entrance point, and that entrance point could be enticing or a barrier for many people. And if you're watching this, if you wanted to become insanely strong, try smashing this barrier. The bigger the barrier and you keep smashing it, you will see how your self-confidence will become. It'll go through the roof. It'll just fly through the roof. Okay, so Entrance barrier is every activity has two separate activities. I'm going to be talking about three separate activities. I mean, three separate parts, but that's a different thing. It's a part of activities. This is separate activities itself. So every activity has two separate activities. Okay? Every activity, whatever the activity it is, whatever the task it is. Activity's got so many syllables. Let me stick with task. Okay, every task has two separate tasks. One is the act, that is the task itself, and the act leading to the task. That means you want to go to the gym, right? If you want to go to the gym, or if you want to apply for a new job. So applying for a new job is an activity, is a task, right? That is the act. And the act leading to the act. What is the act leading to the act? It could be anything. This is whatever you set in your mind, right? It is like, I want to get home and I want to start applying for a job. Or I want to, change my clothes and then I want to start applying for a job. Or it's like, let me have my tea and snacks and then I want to start applying for a job. Or it could be, I want to open my laptop and then start applying for a job. Or it could be open my Chrome browser and then start applying for a job. Or it could be even just hitting on the website, the Glassdoor website and applying for a job. Or it could be even typing the Glassdoor but hitting the enter and then hitting the enter is an act. That's a task. And then when the website loads, and then you have an act. Or it could be putting in the search, like what your position you're looking for. That is also an act. So all of this is in your mind. So whatever the entrance, all of this is an entrance barrier. Depends on where you see it from. If you already changed your clothes, that means you want to have a tea or a coffee, and then you want to have a snacks, and then you wanted to open your laptop, and then you want to turn it on, and then you wanted to let it load, and then you wanted to, open the Chrome browser. So all of these are separate activities. So it depends on where you're looking from. Every activity has two separate activities. Let's just stick with the actual activity that you want to start. Okay, you want to start looking for a job. I mean, this is one easy example or an analogy that I can play with so that it's easy to understand. Okay, so your activity has two separate activities. That is one before and one is the actual act. So every activity has 2 to 20, that's what I mentioned, or 50 or even 50 events in reality. So every activity that is applying for a job has 2 to 20 or even 50 or even 100 events in reality. In the morning when you think about, okay, now I wanted to apply for a job, but in the morning you're going to work. So the entire day, whatever you're doing, that is also counted if you want to count that. Or if you just want to count that, okay, I want to go home and then I want to apply for a job, right? That means you have to shut down your laptop or you shut down your computer from your office. That is the first activity. That is the first act. So every activity, job application, has 2 to 50 different activities in reality. This is the entrance barrier. This is the event, this is the entrance barrier. So this is the activity, and the things leading to this particular activity is 2 to 50 events. In these events, if you're not emotionally strong and if you don't have the mental toughness, you could break in any of it. Okay, so I'll just tell you, I can change your life right now, okay, with this one sentence. If you're going to break on the first activity over here, that is the event in reality, you've not got to this point, forget about this. If you're breaking here, right, that's it. You are proving to yourself that you're not capable. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All of these are activities. These are events, right? Until you reach your laptop, until you reach the Chrome browser, until you hit the search button, until you hit the search, until you cross to all that. That means you are proving to your subconscious mind that you're capable of doing it until this. That means you've not even started this activity, right? So this one, everybody knows it. So this is the bare minimum. So crossing this is not the point. Even the activity is not the point. What is the activity? Just job search. But what is the consequence? That's where the image, the confidence, the mental toughness, whatever it is that's been built up in not in this, but the actual consequence that is realized. That is realized. Okay. So consequence must be not in the mind, but in the reality. When you achieve that, that's how you build up the confidence. Okay. Anyway, coming back to this. So every activity has two parts in the mind. So 2 to 50 events in reality, but two parts in the mind. So this is a reality. This one, the events. So every activity has two parts in the mind. Okay. So let me explain what do I mean by this. Entrance barrier in reality. Now I want to talk about the reality. Now this is an actual existence. This is happening. Okay. Entrance barrier in reality. The activity is working out. Cool. The activity is working out. You're just picking up this barbell and then you're doing the curl. That's it. So if this is the activity, the trigger could be anything. But in your mind, you are saying that, okay, I want to finish my work and then go to the gym. And that's it. So finish my work and start my workout. Or finish my work and go to the gym. Or finish my workout and get my training. This is in reality. Over here, I have mentioned every activity is 2 to 50 events in reality. So if this is the trigger that you have in your mind over here, two parts in the mind. Activity is working out, and after the work, I'm going to work. After I come back from office, I'm going to work out, right? That means two things that you have in your mind. This is what you're saying to yourself in the morning. But in reality, these two parts is 2 to 50 events in one part and another event. That is the actual event. So from the trigger, in your mind, you're saying that, okay, I'm going to finish my work. After I come back from my office, I'm going to start working out, right? This is what you have in your mind. But the actual entrance barrier in reality is this. You're coming back from office, you're stuck in a traffic, you're running late, your boss asked you to do the overtime, you're stuck in the traffic, your commute became late, and then after that, your clothes are not dry, it is raining outside, your clothes are wet, and you're not able to wear the things. You're already running late and your clothes are dry. I mean, it's not dry, it's wet. Okay. And then your phone your phone battery is going down, right? It is down. I need to charge my phone. I'm already late. The gym might be closed, or there could be I don't know, whatever this is, right? And then your kids will come and just say, take me out. You have to take them out. So you have to take them out now, and then you have to get them home, and then you have to go to work out. At that point, your shoe is tight. I just want to give the basic examples, right? The shoe is tight. You already know the shoe is tight. So the resistance is building right from here. Already you had a stressful day, and then you're running late. That is causing one more stress. And then the commute, it's adding one more stress. And then the clothes are not dry, and it's adding another layer. Your phone is dry, another layer. Your kids are asking you to take out, another layer. And now it will blow up right here. You know what? After you have done all of this, and you try to manage to get all of this done, but over here, you wear your shoe, but it's not going inside because it's tight. You've been planning to change this for quite some time, but it's not fitting in, or you just don't find your shoe. And that's where you lose it. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it tomorrow. You got it? So that's, yes, I know, right? So you see that, right? This is just one example among millions. When you really understand the power of entrance barrier, you will literally optimize your life. Okay? Literally optimize your life to reduce the friction of the entrance barrier, so that from your trigger, that is a cue, to this activity is smooth, seamless. It just happens naturally. This is an automated behavior. It's just voila, 5 o'clock here, 5:01. That's it. Right? So how is this possible? That's what I'm gonna teach you. That's what we're going to be covering. So you got the point. You got the importance of the entrance barrier, right? So over here, whatever is happening in the middle, it is just the mental contest. So you have an activity that is in the future, that is, prospective activity, right? And then you have also the consequence of it. The consequence of that activity is getting healthy, getting in shape, building a better body, whatever that is. That is also there is in your it is in your mind. Which is why, first off, when you leave your office, or when you leave from your home in the morning, you were like, I'm gonna come back from my work and I'm gonna start working out. That's what you had in your mind. Maybe your workout is exciting, or the consequence is exciting, or both are exciting, right? If the activity is not exciting, if you think the activity is boring, you will not be thinking about it in the morning. Or even if you're thinking, you'll be like, oh man, I have to go work out. Like, you don't like it, but you have to do it. It's like an obligation for you, right? So either you find it tedious, as so much of effort that I need to do it, or you'll be like, wow, this is so enticing, I love to do it, I love to work out. It gives you a lot of clarity, it gives you a lot of mental clarity. You want to do it, or you want to do it, you have to do it, doesn't matter. But the activity is right there, and that's in your mind. And the consequence is there, that's in your mind. But what is stopping you from doing it and not doing it is, one, how you take that activity as, like how pleasurable that is or how tedious that is. Number two is the entrance barrier. Okay? So if the activity is super good, that means you really love this activity. No matter what happens, you're not going to break. No matter what happens, even if there's a tsunami with the government holiday and the COVID, if all of it comes together, you will still find a way to get this activity done. Okay? But if you're approaching this activity as a moral obligation, like I have to do it because there's no other choice, I have to do it, like I'm dreaded and I have to do it, I don't have a choice. If you're going to go have an approach like that, then you will break right here. I'm running late, so fuck it, I'm not going to do it. I'm already stuck in the traffic, so I'm not going to do it, right? Or my clothes, how can I go? My clothes are like, it's wet, how can I go? I don't have my phone, how can I go, right? I want to go with my children, like how can I go? My shoe is stuck. You find excuses anywhere. Okay? So if the activity is like really, like, you're going to do it anyways. If it is like, if your mind is like so much into this, no matter what happens, boom, you're there. Okay? That is in reality. So entrance barrier in the mind. I'll tell you what exactly is going on in the mind. All right? In the mind, you have the activity and then you have the consequence. So we spoke about over here, right? In the mind, every activity has two parts. One is the activity itself, and then there is a consequence. So either the activity is boring and the consequence is good, that is health, filing tax, doing the presentation, doing the work, or whatever. Okay? Activity is boring. If the activity is boring and then the consequence is good, that means, filing tax, getting the registration done, this, that, you know what I mean, right? If the activity is good and the consequence is good, like workout and the consequence is health. Or if the activity is boring, if the activity is boring and the consequence is also boring, that means you won't even do it. Like, there is no talk about that. Yes? Please understand this. Entrance barrier in the mind is that you have the activity, you have the consequence, but if you like the activity, if you like the task and the consequence, if you like the task and the consequence, the entrance barrier is never a problem. It is just a preparatory activity. Still, okay, it's never a problem. However, preparatory activity can stop you. Like these ones, these are the preparation for you to get here. That can stop you. Provided how strong you are. If you don't like the activity, but you like the consequence, then the entrance barrier is a big one. You can break anywhere. You don't like the workout, but you just like the consequence. You want to be healthy, but you don't want to work out. You hate this, but you love being healthy. You like being in a great shape. Then you will break right here because you don't like it. You will break right here. Or even you will be like, I'll go so far to say that you will not even leave office. You know what? I don't want to go home because if I go home, I want to work out. Like, I don't want to even go there. You'll stay there. You got it? So if you don't like the activity, but the consequence is desired, then the entrance barrier is so big that you will just stop it. Okay? You will be stopped. So it just comes down to how strong you are. And the strength of that of I mean, your strength is purely determined by how desirable the activity is. So uh, let's say, let's just keep this, instead of this activity, it's a drug addict going to get his drugs. No matter what happens, he will get it done, right? No matter what happens, he will most likely get it done because he loves the activity and he doesn't care about the consequence, because consequence is not in the reality, it's just in the mind. You got it? So that's the entrance barrier. That's the power of entrance barrier. So once you understand your distractions and what is triggering you to get into the distractions, now this is where you will start taking control. All right, so please write it down. Write down what are your distractions, whatever the things that you can feel right now. Now just write it. Okay, these are my excuses, right? No time, I don't feel like doing it, I need more information, right? I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't even know where to start, I need to do this first, I need to do that first, I need to check my email first, I wanted to check my Facebook before I get into it, I want to check my LinkedIn status before I get into it, I want to send my resume before I get, I don't know, like whatever the excuse that you're trying to find, like that's the excuses, that is the distraction for you to not start that activity. So these are your initial entrance barrier that is stopping you from doing the activity because the activity is not desirable. Okay, you will, like, do you think that, I mean, do you think that A.R. Rahman will say I didn't have time to produce music to the producer, right? Or do you think that Michael Jordan has said that I didn't have time to train, right? Or you think, I mean, I don't know, like you think that Ratan Tata said that I don't have time to work on this project, like I didn't have the time to decide, I didn't have, no. I mean, like there's no excuse when it comes to the most important things in your life. There's no excuse. If you give excuses, that will reflect in your life, and it's as simple as that. So you really need to be aware of these excuses and these triggers that is leading you to these excuses or the distraction. Okay, so the possible reasons why everybody procrastinates in this world is, you have laziness. I'm just lazy and I'm not able to do it. Laziness is like you are strengthening a very bad part of your character, a very bad part of your psyche. And it's not good to say that I'm lazy, I'm lazy soul. People put this on status, on their social media status, Instagram and Facebook, like lazy soul, lazy, I don't know, whatever. Like, how do you think the recruiter is going to look at your, like, how are they going to perceive your thing? And people are taking pride in saying that, laziness is I am lazy like that, I'm lazy like this. I'm like, lack of energy. This is a physiological issue, and it's not the food. Lack of energy is just that you've not been moving too much. And don't worry, I will fix this issue in no time. Okay, so lack of energy, I don't have the energy to do it. This is one of the reason, right? Negativity, like either it's like self-doubt, I don't know if I'm able to do it, I don't know my potential, right? Or there are people coming in shitting over your intention, like you got a good dream, but people are like, I don't think so you can. It's not eternal, okay, it's external, right? External is like people, I don't think so you should do it, it's too big for you, it's too no, you should not do it, I don't think so you will succeed in that, like I doubt if you can do that. You know what I mean? Like external, this can like shatter your confidence on that. And the internal is like the mental vocabulary, the language that you have about you, about your self-image, about your capacity to do the activity or not, like whatever. These are negativities, right? And then the fear, this is a big one. Fear as in fear of failure. Like, what if I fail? What if I fail? That is like one part of the failure is like, what if I fail? Because I'm going to lose a lot of time, money, energy, and whatnot. Or like, what if I fail, and what are people going to look at me? Like, how are they going to, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to make fun of me, and they're going to be like, and that's the failure. And fear of rejection is like, yeah, this. Fear of success is like, I'm going to walk into an unknown path. So how is this going to, you know what I mean? Like, what are the things that I might have to sacrifice? What are the things that I might have to compromise? Like I'm walking in the path of uncertainty. And what if I just get the success? What if I lose what I have? Like, I'm just so like safe right now. And if I'm just going to get success, what are the things that I must let go of? That's the fear of success and fear of losing one's control. Like, this is like, you have an identity about yourself, and you're thinking like, what if I lose myself? What if I lose my thing and then go towards the vices? What if I, you know what I mean? Like, what if I become corrupt? What if I become greedy? What if I become, uh, so that's another fear. Yeah. And the fear of judgment, that's a big one. There's most people, fear of judgment is like, it's like a it's like a sibling, right? It's just inborn, like it's an inborn quality. And the fear of unknown, right? And again, another reason why people procrastinate is because of the perfectionism. Like, I can't I need to get this perfect. I need to get this done. I want to get that done. I want to get this done. After everything is set, then I'm going to start, right? And that time will never come. And the feeling of being overwhelmed, like, I don't even know, there is so much to do. I don't even know where to start, right? Assurance, you're waiting for the approval from people. You're waiting for like, okay, is this like a real decision? Like, is this the real thing? Because I'm going to do it and then I don't know what's going to happen, right? Analysis paralysis. I was stuck in that for like, 2 years? Analysis paralysis. I'm just analyzing and analyzing and analyzing. There's no action. There's just analyzing. And it just like literally just paralyzed me, just shackled my hand, my leg, like, and more importantly, the brain. It just paralyzed my brain with that analysis. Just analyzing, just keep on doing it, right? Lack of priorities, like lack of not priorities, but lack of clarity of priorities, right? And the big one, indecision. Like, indecision is I think indecision is like the top of it. Why people procrastinate? Because you've not decided. If you decided, you will do it. Okay, so these are the possible reasons. And how are we going to tackle all of this, or any of this, whatever you're facing? How are we going to tackle this and get out of it? That's what we're going to be solving here. Cool. So anything that you're going to learn in this, it's a behavior change. And for a behavior change, it takes a lot of time. It takes effort. Most importantly, effort. Time is subjective, because to me, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years is nothing. If I wanted to really build something meaningful, I am iron-willed to go do it, regardless of what happens. If I'm alive, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to have a positive return in my life, if I'm going to be changed, if I'm going to be grown, I'm going to do it. So 5 years is not a big time. But for some people, 5 years is a huge time. Like, I'm not happy with my life. I want to, learn a new skill. But for me to get the return on that skill, it's going to take about 5 years. They'll be like, what? 5 years? I don't think so. I don't have so much of time. But just imagine, even after 5 years, they're going to be stuck in the exact same situation. How about that? Right? So how are we going to tackle this issue permanently with a stipulated amount of time? And that time is subjective, because it really comes down to how fast are you willing to change? How fast are you willing to make shit happen? Right? So let's solve the problem. When I had the problem, there's only one person who really changed the problem. Okay? I mean, there's only one thing that really changed my problem. And that thing was given by this person. His name is Isaac Newton. So in 1686, Isaac Newton published his 3 laws of motion. Okay? And the first law, it just literally changed my life. And I'm just going a little heavy on the physics and psychology, but please stick with me, because from the bottom of my heart, I want you to change your life. If you're not happy where you are, I want you to change your life. And that's why I'm giving you the most effective and efficient strategies that is available on planet Earth. Okay. So Isaac Newton's 3 laws, and the first law was every body, right? Not everybody, but every body persists in its state of rest. That means look at anything that is in your room, just one object. Just take one object and look at it. That is in its state of rest, right? That's first condition. Second condition, or of uniform motion in a right line or straight line, doesn't matter, but there's a line. That means uniform motion. Motion is the movement. Uniform movement in a line, right? Unless it is compelled to change that state by the force impressed upon it, right? So I really want you to understand the importance of this sentence and what this sentence could bring, what change, positive change, or the result that it could bring in your life. Please understand it, because look, you cannot go against this. Like, no matter what happens, you will never be able to go against this, because this is like one of the truth of the universe, like one of the truth of the universe that is understood by the human consciousness. It's a law of physics. Okay, every body persists in its state of rest. If it is resting, it will persist to rest. That means it will continue to rest. Or in uniform motion. That means if it is in motion, it will persist in motion unless it is compelled to change. So from the state of rest to the state of motion, what is happening? There is an external force. That is a force that is acting on that particular object, and then the movement takes place. And even in the movement, what happens? There is a persists. Everybody persists in the state or the motion state. You got it? So every morning when you set your initial condition, that is implementation intention. I know there's a lot of mouthful words, but I will break it down for you. Once you understand that, and then you will see, then you will, if you put the awareness and if you put the conscious attention to every single activity, procrastination is just nothing. It's just a cockroach that you can just stamp and move on with a smile. Okay, so it's important to understand this. Please write this down if you want. Okay, so this is the Newton's first law of inertia, right? And pretty much everyone on this planet Earth are stuck in this. Now, there is no proven science, or there is no proven mechanics or the study on this. This is my theory. This is my experience. Like, if you just go and say, okay, what is the relation between Newton's first law and the procrastination? They'll say, fuck off. There's no, you know what I mean? Like, there is no connection. I mean, barely, but this is what proven to me. Like, to me, this particular thing has made so much of a big impact. So I'm just going to tell you exactly how you need to connect. And when you connect it in the right way, trust me, there are a few short circuits that is going to happen in your mind. And trust me, you will literally become unstoppable. You will be like hard, and you will never be able to stop what you're going to do. Okay? So that's why I designed this. So everybody, I want to break it down one after the other. Okay? So everybody persists in a state. So this is a body. This is an object. This is you, an object. Okay? It is at rest. This is the first part of the sentence. Is at its rest. Second part of the sentence, first part of the sentence, everybody is this body, persists in a state of rest. This is rest or on a uniform motion. That means now it's moving, right? Uniform motion in a right line or straight line. I'm not really sure about this, but yeah, there's a line, right? Unless it is compelled. So this is the third part. This is the second part of the sentence, in a uniform motion. the last part, unless it is compelled to change by the external force, right? Somebody kicking the ball and there is a movement. That means if it is still, if it is idle, you're going to be idle. And when you're idle, you are going to get mind fucked by your own thinking, by your own negative emotions, by the anxiety, but with all of that. And when you're in a movement, this causes movement, this causes motion, and this causes motion, and this causes motion. Are you getting it? So think of this like, okay, you're the ball, and if the ball has to stop, like, okay, literally, in talking in literal sense, a ball will stop. Why will a ball stop? The ball will stop because of the gravity. And that is what is stopping the motion. Because it's got a gravity, right? It is not moving forward because it's a gravity. But you, on the other hand, what is gravity for you? Right? What is your gravity? Your gravity is you become tired. Somebody else might call you, or even the everyday activity is over, or any distraction, or you're like, oh, you're done with the actual task, anything that can stop you from your motion. Are you getting it? So what I'm saying is the point that I'm trying to drive home is like, you don't want to be stuck in this. If you're stuck in this, there are very bad things that can happen in your life. Become unhealthy, so much of hospital bills, sickness, broke, family struggles, you are struggling, everything will happen if your body, you persists in a state of rest. This should never happen. Okay? And you should always be in this motion, like you should be always here. So just like an object at the rest tends to stay at rest, procrastination creates a mental and emotional inertia. Okay? So either if you're at rest, you're going to be at rest, or if you want to move, you're going to move. So if you're procrastinating, you have probably and possibly done this. Like you'll be like, okay, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. And if you're thinking about I'll do it tomorrow on a Friday, then be like, you know what? I'll do it on Monday for sure. That means 2 or 3 days, you're going to be fucking with this negative emotion. You're going to be on this like, oh, something is bothering you. Like, I didn't work out. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't work on my project. I didn't do this. I didn't submit the presentation or whatever it is. I didn't do it. That's a sense of guilt. That's a sense of stress. All of this is bringing in the negative emotion. In essence, it is anxiety. All right. So application of the external force to break through the inertia. You need to, apply the external force. And what are the external force? It could be anything. Use this negative emotion as an external force for you to act. That means you are an object and it is at rest. Use a negative emotion. Okay, negative emotion is coming in, so I need to kick. I need the kick. And you're getting the kick from the negative emotion. I'm feeling scared because I'm scared for my health. I'm scared for my job. I'm scared for whatever. So you are having this negative emotion as a kick, or the pressure, or the desire. Like, if I move, if I do this, I'm going to be healthy. If I do this, I'm going to get a new job. If I do this, I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's a desire, or the pain, or the thought. Thought is like causing the anxiety. That's a negative emotion. So all of this, use all of this in your reality, which can act as an external force. So you've already got the motivation. If you say that you don't have a motivation, these are your motivation. Like your negative emotion, your, like, all of this is your is the external force. If you can channel all of this external force and break through the inertia, that is when you become an unstoppable force. Like, you're literally not able to stop what you're doing each and every fucking day. You're like, the monster is up, the monster is activated. Like, I can't stop what I'm doing right now. No matter what happens, I don't care, but I can't stop this. Like, I want you to get to that point, and that is how you build, like, that is how you build the momentum. Okay, so Newton's law applies here as well. So an object in motion tends to stay in motion. So it will be in motion. You will be in motion. You will be, attacking every single day until you hit the goal. So the goal also could be the gravity that is stopping you from being the motion, because you've already achieved the goal. If $1 million is your goal, then no matter what happens, you're going to stay in motion until you reach there. The thing is, if you're going to stop here, or if you haven't been started here, then there is no point. But the thing is, like, now you've got a momentum, you've got like movement, the motion is going on, but then, you have something that can stop you. right? Not intentionally and deliberately, but external force that can stop you from your actual regular activity. That's the momentum, right? It's like, okay, I felt sick, or there is a holiday that I'm not able to do what I'm supposed to do, right? There is a holiday, sickness, family emergency, or lack of motivation itself, right? Anything that can happen. So if you stop, right, again, get back to this and use it back again and just start. The moment you stop, one thing that I want you to understand is this is leading you to inertia. Okay? And you don't want to get into this inertia, because once you are getting into this inertia of, I'm talking about the negative inertia, then you're going to be at rest. This is at rest inertia. Okay? So momentum is your positive inertia. It's going to make you move. Okay? Like I said, there is no correlation between the Newton's law and procrastination. I know for sure I'm the master when it comes to procrastination, and I just do it, and I just did it, and affected like crazy impact in my life. And people who never like people who paid like the price for my procrastination, right? There are a lot of people, my girlfriend, my parents, they paid the price for my procrastination, and I know how much it hit me. So at that point, the only thing that really got me out of this was the first law of Newton. And I set this as an initial trigger point in my mind, so that not just setting it as an initial trigger point, but also reinforcing it by the association. I told you about association. I will explain that to you soon, but association is something. So yeah, so by reinforcing it, by setting it, by reinforcing, today I'm at a point where I can't stop, and I want you to get where I am, and that's my goal for you. Cool. So object at rest, object in motion, 1, 2, 3, it is still there, but object in motion, 1, 2, 3, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Momentum is formed. This is how you need to apply. So your ultimate secret weapon number 1, your thoughts. This is your initial condition. Okay? So I will be talking about the pleasure conscious and pleasure unconscious. Just going a little deeper on the psychology, but your thoughts is an initial condition. Let this be your guiding light. Your initial thoughts, your thoughts, that is the initial condition. That means when you wake up, and you wake up with an intent of doing XYZ, that means you're setting the initial condition. That means your mind, your attention and focus, and of course your physiology, that is your body, will gravitate towards that initial condition, whatever you have set. That initial, that thought, that is a condition. Okay, think of it like you're building something, so you are preparing an engine to go in a certain speed, to go in a certain, to perform in a certain way. That is the initial condition. Think of it like that. Your thought, number 1, okay? Initial condition. Second, weapon number 2 is the domino effect. So domino effect is, this is like a double-edged sword. So what exactly is a domino effect? The domino effect, what exactly is a domino effect? The domino effect is nothing but once you start doing one thing, and then it continues, and this can act both ways. If you're at rest, and then if there is a negative spiral that's building up, and then it's build and it'll build and it'll build and it'll build, like just going on and on without any stop. You are not able to stop it now, right? You're just stuck in that downward spiral, negative thought feedback loop, and you're just not able to get up from there. You have so much of bad feeling, you don't feel good about yourself. There's so much of psychological effects that is happening in reality, and you're scared, you're anxious, you don't even know what to do, right? This is how you feel stuck, because the domino effect has been taken over you at that point. But if you're in motion, apply the second one, object in motion. If you're in motion, you're finishing one activity, you're getting another one, and you're getting another one, and you're getting another one. This is where you feel like a machine. This is how you feel like a machine. For the last 1 week, I have not stopped. Apart from sleep, apart from food, there's nothing else existed in my life, I think, from what I can recall. Just food, sleep, and that's it. I've been intensely focusing on this, right, for the last I think close to 10 days. So this is created the domino effect. So every morning when I play, this is how I play. I start using the first weapon is the intent. Like, okay, I've got to set this up, so I need to do this. And I'm not waking up saying that, what do I do today? What do you think I should be doing? No, I already know what are the needle moving activities in my life that's really going to make my life go forward. And I know it. And those are the thoughts that is having in, because my entire environment is set up according to that. And there's nothing that can derail me apart from any unexpected or unfortunate circumstances. You got it? So this is the first one. The second one is a domino effect. The moment if I think for a rest or anything that can make me idle for a minute, I associate my mind or with the existing thought to the domino effect. If I'm going to do this thought is going to continue and to go into a big one where at night I will feel so shitty and I feel like killing myself. But instead, if I start moving, if the object in motion, then the domino effect will take place and it will help me move the mountains. Okay? So you procrastinate. If this is the initial thought that you had, let me just check my Instagram. Let me just check my email. Let me just see the notification and get back. If that is the initial condition that you're setting, that means you're not really acting. That means the object is not in motion. That means you are doing the opposite side of the domino effect is going to take over you, and then you're just going to sit there and you're just going to sit there unless there is a big thing that is happening in you, unless there is an external force that is coming and acting, telling you to act, like it's time for you to buckle up, right? If not, you're just going to sit there, feel shitty, and that's how. Or if you have set the intention, like the initial condition, that's your thought, I put this symbol because it's a vibration. You feel good, you set a good intention, this is the vibration. Or you feel bad, you have a negative emotion, you don't feel like doing it, whatever, this is just a vibration in your thought. So you set the intention to move, and then you move. Again, this way or this way, upward spiral, downward spiral, go up, go down, whatever it is. This is your ultimate weapon. When you apply this weapon, there's no application of this weapon. It is just a thought. Like, you think about it in every activity. This is why I say awareness is so important, because once you're aware that this thought can lead to a certain behavior, and that behavior can lead into a domino effect by the end of today, you will choose wisely. Okay? Weapon number 3 is the momentum. So momentum is the object in motion tends to stay in motion. That is momentum. This is where you get to a point where you cannot stop. You're not able to stop, because whatever you're doing, there's so much of things that you're getting it done, and you're not able to stop. You're just not able to stop. You're ecstatic, you're high, you're happy. Every time when you're approaching the activity, you're happy. When you're doing the activity, you are in a flow state, and you finish the activity, you are happy. You just fucking jump around like a fat kid who got a cake, right? Because you're devouring every single activity, and you're killing it. You're smashing it one after the other. Why? Because in your mind, you have formed that momentum. And this is not only in your entire day. I'm talking about the entire task. So we'll be talking about your goal and how to achieve that, right? But for you to achieve a meaningful goal, it will take about 6 months to 5 years or even 10 years. So for you to get there, without the momentum, it's pretty hard, because you need to be at least a little bit excited, or at least a little bit of rage, the animalistic rage, for you to really approach that particular activity. If not, you're going to be like weak thoughts, weak mentality, weak everything is just going to be so weak in you, and you're not going to move, right? So an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless the ball is dropping, only if you have achieved the goal, or if there is insanely powerful external force that is coming stopping you from whatever you're doing. Until then, there is no stopping. So the momentum is bang on, and you are like killing it, like one after the other. It's not, like I said, it's not only for your entire day. It is for the entire journey, for the 6 months, or for 1 year, or for 5 years. I don't know. You can drop the ball. You can drop the ball in between go for a holiday or go for a, I don't know, you can drop it. But before you form the momentum, before you feel the excitement of this entire activity or the journey, before you feel it, if you drop the ball, because like if you drop the ball for silly reasons that most people do, right? I feel tired, or it's just raining outside, like my clothes are wet, right? My shoe is tight, and all of this poor pathetic excuses. If you're going to stop because of this, like I didn't sleep properly last night and all of that kind of shit, right? Then obviously you're not gone to a point where you've reached the momentum. So if you haven't reached the momentum in your subconscious mind, you know for the fact that you have not reached the momentum and you keep failing. So today, if you're giving up on your workout because it's raining outside, tomorrow you will most definitely give up because you're just tired, or because even if it's just drizzling, right? And there are people like me. I'm not I am bragging. Maybe I'm bragging, but like, like if there is a loved one at the hospital, it is raining outside, and I didn't have the money to eat, and I'm still going to, I have to spend the entire night at the hospital. And on the next day, if I have to go for a job, I will spend I'll spend the night at the hospital. I'll wake up, I'll make sure I'll get my workout done, and then I will go and get the food ready, and then I'll go to work. I'll do that. Most people won't. And I didn't just build this quality. I just didn't get this quality. I built it. So I want you to get to this point. And that's why I'm saying that I'm qualified to talk about this shit, is because I have done this over and over and over again, like so many fucking times. All right. So the momentum is your ultimate weapon. All three are ultimate, but you get the point. Okay. So thank you so much for learning. I hope you've got some perspective right now. And in the coming videos, we're just scratching the surface. In the coming videos, you're going to have so much fun and so much learning. Thank you once again. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.